Hello and welcome back to Anywhere But Here, episode 294. My name is Tom.
And my name's Zen.
And you can find us at abhpod.com, where somewhere on that page, if I can pronounce my own name right, there is an Amazon banner. You can go through the Amazon banner and do your shopping as per usual. It doesn't cost you any more, doesn't change your user experience at all, but we get 5% of your total basket spend, which goes towards our hosting fees for the rest of the year.
That threw me off. Right, yeah.
Sorry.
You can also support us on Patreon. Somewhere on the page near, right next to the Amazon banner, there's a Patreon banner. For as little as $1, £1, €1, whatever a month, you can support us on a regular basis. It's a monthly donation. You can cancel anytime you want. But for that dollar, you get extra content, like exclusive after the podcast, which is where Tom and I just talk a little bit more. That's only available to our patrons. You get spoiler casts when we record them. That 3-hour epic that was released 2 weeks ago, that was actually released in 2 parts to our patrons. They've already heard it ages ago. They got a week off. Like they've got like a month off. It's brilliant. You also get YouTube content, sometimes exclusive. These videos go up. These main episodes go up as videos on our YouTube channel. But they never get released to the public. That's just for our patrons. What else? Gameplay. If we do gameplay, that go up early for our patrons before it goes out on our YouTube channel. All of the audio content, including this main episode without the intro, also go out on an exclusive feed that you just import into your podcast app, and it gets delivered to you every week with a little gold thumb as the artwork on top of the normal artwork.
Indeed. And you can get in touch with us as well. Have a chat with us on social media. We're on Twitter at ABH Pod. We're on Facebook.com/ABH Pod. And we're on the YouTube as well, like Ant just mentioned, youtube.com/ABH Podcast.
Yeah, you can also email us a bit longer form if you want. Give us your life story. Send us a novel or something. It's abhpod@gmail.com.
On this episode, we talk about video games.
Yeah, films that we've watched.
And films lead us on to the allegations around a certain filmmaker in Britain.
Yeah, we also talk about France flexing its guns.
But first, I'm a bit tired. Are you tired?
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Enjoy.
How are you?
Yeah, all right. I don't know why. Like, recently I've been quite good at going to bed at a decent time. Like, even on the weekends, like when it's not a school night. And I've been feeling great getting up early and stuff. But like this weekend, for some reason, I decided, no, I'm not going to go to bed before midnight. And I just struggled to wake up. Sort of why, half of why I was running a bit late today. But
no, I've had insomnia for the last week, basically.
God.
So I've used the weekend to catch up as well. So yeah, I was in bed 20 minutes before 10.
Oh, nice. Love it.
I looked at my phone like earlier on because we've got starlings nesting in the eaves of the house.
Oh, nice.
Right now, right outside the air brick.
Yeah.
Nice. So every morning, there is this cacophony of chicks. There must be at least 4 of them, and yeah, the parent birds are in and out all the time, and it's loud.
Inconsiderate bastards building houses on your natural habitat.
on my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, no. It's tough when you've only managed to drift off to sleep at 4 or 5 in the morning, and then at 7 o'clock they start up. You know.
Yeah. What's caused that? Like, have you got quite a lot on at work, or?
I don't know, man. Like, it's always come and gone, but this is the first time I've had it in a long time. So yeah, I think there's some stuff. There's a lot going on, both with work and with band biographies at the moment. Yeah. I've got guests lined up for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, nice.
Including one name that I think of as quite big, like a drummer in a band that everyone has heard of.
Oh, really? Oh, big stuff happening.
They're just about to do like a 25th anniversary playthrough of their first album.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a... Is that something that... Did they get in touch with you, or did you get in touch with them?
Well, I think we started talking in December or something when I put out the Undertones album.
Right.
Podcast. Fuck hell. It's going to be one of those days today.
Oh, yeah.
And he got in touch to say, really cool that you're highlighting the Undertones. They were a massive band for me.
Yeah.
And so kind of since then, I've made sure that I've been commenting on stuff that he's, put out and making
as band
sure
biographies,
there's a little bit of, just making sure there's a little bit of back and forth there.
You're always there.
Always there. Yeah. And I just messaged him the other day, and after like months of being like, I should really do that.
Yeah, but it's building up the bollocks to do it, because it's kind of like, why would somebody? I mean, you consider, like, I don't know who he is, but you consider him to be part of something big. It's like, why would he want to come on my little podcast? But it's just that imposter syndrome thing, isn't it? Like,
go into the chat. I've just put the name of the band in the chat.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, fair enough.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, Liz would be interested in. I can't shout it out to you. We're recording.
No.
Text me.
But yeah, so it was just building up the bollocks to do it, and then I did, and I did it, and then I went on and did a job for an hour and a half, because I was like, I just need to focus on something else. Yeah. And when I came back, he'd replied within half an hour, and was like, "Yeah, I'd love to come on." So yeah,
you got an ooh in the background.
Yeah,
it's but that's the thing. It's that imposter syndrome, isn't it? It's the classic. Why would they be interested in my little thing? But he got in touch with you originally.
Yeah,
he listened and he thought it was cool, and it's
all right. So I've got the head of a record label on this week. Record label called Alcopop, who put out. They're really interesting. I've heard of some of the stunts they've done in the past,
right?
But like the most recent thing, that band that I had on, the Stepney Sisters, the kind of women's lib band that I had on, they were signed to them through one of that band's daughters, who is also signed to that record label.
Yeah.
But the record label themselves is like. They were set up with the proceeds of a bet that someone put on. Like they got an advance from their dad, and then they put that money on a football match.
Wow!
And luckily,
it came in. Yeah. So then they used that to build their label. Yeah,
but they were the ones who took over the UKIP website a few years back and put unicorns and shit on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And they released a song or an EP with. Shikari Sound System, which is the Enter Shikari guys.
Yeah.
And it was the wisdom of Nigel Farage, and it was just a blank CD.
Jesus, that's going somewhere.
And it's just interesting stuff like that. So they sound like a really cool kind of company to kind of have a chat with.
No, that's cool.
So that's what's happening with me over the next couple of weeks. So like, as well as work and stuff, there's been like getting ready for those two, because I especially the drummer, I really want to kind of have my know my shit, basically.
That all of that sort of stuff is gonna sort of, even if it's not on the forefront of your mind, it's going to be in the background, and that will probably affect whether you sleep or not.
Yeah, and also there's been the personal stuff as well. Like,
yes,
my stepnan passed away 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and my nan as well has had like something strange come up in a blood work report.
Oh, really?
And she's getting tested for that tomorrow, and it could be any number of things. So,
well, fingers crossed, it's not.
Yeah,
it's the best of what the possibilities are.
Yeah, we've done some looking into what it could be, and it's like anything from, things that are treatable to things that are not. So you know.
it's like I always say to Chloe when she's like got a sore throat or something and she wants to look it up on Google. I'm like, don't look it up on Google, because either nothing's wrong or you're gonna die. Like there's no in between. Just don't. But yeah, because you always look up stuff online, and obviously being a journalist, like that's your profession, you sort of know how to read sort of things critically and sort of take into account how legitimate the sources are and shit like that.
True. But you can also dive down rabbit holes with it as well, because you're looking for side effects or
when it's personal to you, when it's not a professional thing, you do sort of, that critical eye sort of falls away. Just
slightly. There's all sorts going on at the moment, but and I also the other thing that I think has disturbed me as well is actually going outside of Kent for the first time. I went like on 2 things in a week the other week, and interacted with more people than I've interacted with in the last year. From
absolutely nothing to 2 conferences in a week or whatever.
Well, the first one, I went down to Southampton for the day to see some robot that's been designed to kill weeds in fields, like in crop fields. It's this massive robot that goes down with these kind of like 6-axis arms and hung underneath it. And it can pinpoint which plant is a weed and which plant is a crop. And it puts 10,000 volts through these plants, which kills them right down to the root. Yeah, I know.
Didn't Marvel Studios do that with 3 helicarriers?
This is the beginning of Project Insight. Yeah.
This giant robot can pinpoint unwanted biological matter and send 10,000 volts through it to kill it right down to the root.
Yeah, when you say it like that.
I wonder if the Ministry of Defence has got in touch with them yet. Wait, that's...
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying. But the robots are called Tom, Dick and Harry. So
brilliant.
Tom goes out with a big array of photo sensors.
Yeah.
Takes really detailed pictures of the field.
Yeah.
And then Dick comes up behind and zaps things.
Dick comes up from behind. And there's the title of the... Mate, that sounds... Yeah, I mean, like, it's brilliant. It's, like, incredible what they can do. But at the same time, you're like...
Yeah, definitely.
Pinpointing biological matter and just destroying it. All right. And if you'd have told me the machine was called Thanos, I would have...
Thanos Galactus and...
Fucking hell. Oh, well.
Yeah, so interesting stuff. Cool. And then the other one was just a bit of a business lunch in London.
Yeah. So how different is it going to these events as a freelance?
No different, actually. The only thing is that I don't definitely have an outlet for what I've written. And the other thing as well is that, like, all the usual faces were there. So there are very few places that I can actually sell it to. So, I've got to just think a bit cleverly about that.
Yes, I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? When you're working for a magazine or a website, you will go to those events, writing the article, knowing there's somewhere to publish it. Whereas now you're going to those events to find something to write about in the hopes that it will interest somebody. Yeah.
I'm sure I'll be able to, find somewhere for it. But it won't be to the regular magazines that I would usually kind of pinpoint. So
cause I don't know if you want to talk about like one of the familiar faces you saw at one event. No.
I mean, my old boss was there, which was good fun and awkward, and that I kind of thrive in slightly awkward, making people feel uncomfortable.
All right, mate.
Yeah, it was a little bit like that.
Yeah.
But there were other people there that I get on really well with, so it was nice to kind of be able to.
Did you talk to your old boss or not?
We exchanged pleasantries.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah. And then I made a bit of a song and dance about how brilliantly I'm doing to other people just outside of his earshot, or maybe just inside of his earshot.
That's what you do.
Yeah. Including the guy who edits The Engineer, which is another, like, it's a 130-year-old magazine.
Is it like competition?
Yeah, but they're owned now by the same company that
okay.
my old company comes from, and also they're very good friends, and they share rides together because they live down the road from each other and all that kind of thing. So I made out, because I knew that he was probably going to get interrogated on the way back home. But he offered me, when I get the budget, you can definitely write articles for me as well. And I'm like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, we'll do, mate. Brilliant.
Yeah. But that was, that was, interesting.
It's good. Like, it is wicked, like, how quickly this has all come about, that you were able to go to this thing and be in a position where you could.
Well, I was asked down there by the managing director of the company that was making the presentation. Personally, he asked for me to come down, and I was like, why was it that I was invited down here, just out of curiosity?
Yeah.
And it was just like, it wasn't necessarily for anything prospective, but he just remembered that I liked, automation and robotics and that kind of thing. And he was like, and that's a good thing as well, because it means that the people who are making these decisions remember who I am.
Yeah, you stand out, and someone like, I remember he liked this. I will invite him personally. And brilliant.
Yeah, so I was invited by the MD, who invited you.
Yeah.
Did you just get the regular kind of, press release? Oh, this is going ahead. Do you fancy coming down?
My email started, "Hi, Tom."
Yeah. Matt Aldridge has asked for you himself.
Yeah, love it. But that's cool. Great. It is great, though. And no, I mean, I've said it in the past, so I'm really chuffed that it's working out for you. And you're doing brilliant.
Yeah, cheers, man. It's been an interesting little journey so far. It was weird though, because it felt, you just out, the whole thing was outside, obviously, because we were on a farm. So like, there was a bit of distancing, but no one was really wearing masks, so it kind of felt normal. So it was an interesting little insight into kind of, maybe there's going to be more of these things cropping up in the future.
I mean, it is going that way. Like for Chloe's birthday at the sort of beginning of April, we went to Go Ape. I don't know if I spoke about it on here or not.
I remember seeing pictures.
But so it was pretty much like the first, I don't know if it was it was the first day. It was April 12th. So it was, everything had opened up that day. And we went down there, and yes, there was social distancing and the groups were a little bit smaller, I believe. But like, we're outside, so no one's wearing masks. And and it was just, and Leeds Castle was sort of like, there was loads of people at Leeds Castle. Go Apes on the grounds of Leeds Castle. It's just weird. Everything does seem to be going back to normal, but everyone, unlike the other lockdowns, everyone is a bit more conscious now, which is really good. I go climbing now, and people are socially distanced. We joined the gym. There's a new gym opened in Maidstone, Pure Gym, and it's like fucking dirt cheap 24-hour gym. Oh, I thought you'd frozen then. So we joined the gym.
You froze. I was just waiting for you to catch up.
Oh, really? Okay. I saw you looked like you'd frozen. So we joined Pure Gym because it's dirt cheap 24-hour gym. And you go down there. It's quite busy, but it's a really big space. And it's like, there's like cleaning stations everywhere, and you have to wear your mask between apparatus and things like that, and you have to clean it before and after. And like in the sort of free weights area, there's boxes that they taped out, like, stay in your fucking zone. And it does seem like, it's kind of going in the right direction, isn't it? It's sort of working.
Yeah, I think so. Weirdly, London, like, although it was busy when I went up there last Friday, London is not as busy as like the town centres down here seem to be.
Oh, really?
Like me and my colleague went for a wander down like on the South Bank So from the Shard down to kind of the National Theatre, and kind of had an outdoor lunch there, a couple of drinks, and like normally on a Friday afternoon in central London, everyone's clocking off work and it's bustling down there. Like I say, it was busy, but it wasn't Friday afternoon in London busy, you know. So, but I think it's mainly because like people aren't at work. They're not at their workspaces at the moment, and also it's not really residential either. It's not like a town centre where people just wander in.
Yeah, no, it's a business district, but because everyone's working from home, or most people are working from home still, it's not going to be as busy, is it? People aren't going to be clocking off to go to the pub. People will be clocking off to sit on their sofa. Like, yeah. And I mean, I saw a few news pieces like this week about like they've done surveys and things of businesses about working from home, and they're like, most businesses now are saying that they're gonna sort of go into like a, what were they calling it? I don't know, like a hybrid business, like hybrid office working situation, where it'll be on a rotated basis that people will work from the office a couple of days a week and they'll work at home, because then you can have smaller office spaces because you don't need so many desks. And I mean,
I think had a places like WeWork are going to get. Oh no, there's a lag, isn't there?
A little bit, I think. Yeah. Look,
mate.
That's all right. We had a questionnaire come out to us a couple of weeks ago. Like, they said that they're going to start easing people back into the office from September. How would you feel about it? What precautions would we take? Would you want to work from the office 100%? Like, or what percentage of your week would you want to work at the office? And like, they were giving people options, and I think they're going to seriously look into the flexible sort of working situation. Because I think most people I've spoken to don't want to work in it. Most people are like, I want to work at home all the time, or I want to work at the office like once or twice a week. But I'm like, I'd rather spend most of the time, because of the job I like, the type of work we do. Collaboration is a big thing. Like, at the minute, it's just kind of like message someone on Teams. Oh, are you free? Oh, when are you free? Oh, I'll call you now. And like, sort of, whereas if you're in the office, it'll be like, oh, have you ever seen this before? Like, just call someone over to have a look at your screen, because you can see they're not.
Yeah.
So I think working at the office is beneficial for us. But even so, I still said like 60% of the time, like 3 days a week in the office would suit me perfectly fine.
I think that seems to be the consensus, doesn't it? You know, people generally, if they don't have to work from an office, if collaboration isn't a big thing for them on a day-to-day basis, then why would you be in the office all the time? Yeah, you know, once or twice a week, so that you can just touch base and make sure everything's going right. But
I think the only issue with ours is our senior support staff, our two seniors, are based in Castleford still. Like, they're from the old team, so they're still going to be they're working from home. That's their work now, because they can't commute to Ashford, weirdly, from Castleford, from like West Yorkshire. They can't commute to Ashford, lazy bastards. But so they're always going to be remote. So it's always going to have to be, are you free? Can you sort of, there's always going to be that element of Teams sort of collaboration with them. I mean, if we're doing that with them, what is the point? Like, why wouldn't we just carry on working from home that way anyway? But
yeah, exactly.
You know, not everyone has the space to work from home.
No.
I know I work on my dining table. And I think there's only, as far as I know, there's only like one other person on our team that has an office. And that's just because she's recently moved, and she specifically looked for an office. But yeah, others like are working just from their bedroom, like laying in bed working. And it's like, that's not
a good way to work.
No, they're all young anyway. They're like early 20s sort of age. So
yeah,
so then it don't make a fucking difference, does it? At that age, I would have loved that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah,
sort of like half working on a call with like a fucking senior people in charge of like commissioning groups or hospital trusts while you're laying in bed.
Just the shirt and the suit jacket on up.
That's
here.
it, yeah. Yeah, I mean, no word of lie. I've come down in my pajamas before and been working on camera, t-shirt, pajama bottoms.
Yeah.
It's great.
But why not? Like, you're not in front of people, are you? And this was the whole thing about working in an office that really got me as well. It's like you've got to wear, a suit up to go to work, and it's like, why? We're not in front of anyone. Like,
yeah, I think when I did the few days in the office, it was sort of like, you be smart, casual, you can wear jeans if you want, because there's no customers coming in at the minute. But when they're fully operational, they do have customers coming in. So it's sort of like business casual. So you don't have to wear a tie, but, have trousers and a shirt. Like, it could be a short sleeve shirt, doesn't matter. Just no logo t-shirts and jeans, which one of our managers, he's actually my manager now. Like, when we got there, he had like a band t-shirt and jeans with a suit jacket over the top. Like, that's what made him the manager, was the suit jacket. So funny. But it's working in IT. It's like, we don't have a fucking clue about how to look good. We work in IT. We're fucking nerds.
Yeah, I don't think IT divisions or departments ever have to really make that much of an effort. Most of the IT guys in our office used to wear like t-shirts with code on them.
Yeah. The geek jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them and I will laugh at them. Never mind. Oh well. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like going back to like you're doing really well, like success wise, especially band biographies, like you've got a few interviews coming up. Did you watch that documentary on Sky yet that involves one of our friends?
No.
Adam.
Oh no, I haven't. No.
Oh, okay.
That's the Hitchcock one, isn't it?
Yeah. I Am Hitchcock on Sky Documentaries. I watched it, and his voice is featured a lot in that documentary.
Yeah, well, I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's like interviews with like Steven Spielberg and Eli Roth and stuff like that, and it's like Adam is like.
Well, he's up there. He's proved himself a what do you call it? Like an authoritative voice in his space. So I mean,
it's like he's got the titles underneath, and it's like podcaster, author, The Adventures of Alfred Hitchcock, and it's like that guy who's got a sort of podcast that is called The Adventures of Alfred Hitchcock probably should be the guy that speaks a lot.
Yeah.
But and it's that classic thing, and they give him his document. If anyone's not listened to like The Secret Histories of Hollywood, like just do it. Just do use like I'm not a massive film buff type person, but I just love the storytelling in those. But it's always, like that last sort of half hour to hour in Adam's documentaries where he's like, and you've loved these characters and now I'm going to break your heart and make you cry. Like they give him that moment in this documentary as well.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So he gets that moment, and it's the AFI. But if you've listened to it, it's where he accepts his award and he only thanks 4 people.
Yeah.
Like he gets to say that bit in this documentary as well. It's like there's no other voice you want to hear doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's so it's a great documentary. Like credit to like the team who put that together, like completely how they edited it with all the clips and stuff. Because I think it was made in COVID time, so it's not talking heads style stuff. It's all clips of Hitchcock and things like that with the voices over the top.
Yeah, because I think Adam was saying somewhere online recently that there was supposed to be talking heads, and the bits were filmed.
Yeah.
But they went with the decision not to. Which I think in some cases, I mean, a lot of those Asif Kapadia documentaries, Senna, Amy, and Diego Maradona, don't have any talking heads in them either. You just use the archive footage and put the talking heads over the top.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, obviously it would have been great for him to get his face on TV as well. That would have been absolutely brilliant. But to be involved in a project like that, and have as much as much airtime as apparently he has. I mean, that's an incredible achievement. And this is it. You can judge your success on its own merits, or you can judge it against other people's and feel massively insignificant.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. But, it's taken him a long time to get there with his podcast. And, and you seem to be on that same trajectory, though. Like because still quite early on, but you're starting to get names, already. So
yeah. I mean, I never went out to
of
kind
course.
of get this kind of thing, but it's been a necessity to have these interview ones interspersed between the documentaries, because it just gives me more time now that I'm working again.
Yeah, but I think that's a really, really good way to do it, though, because you're telling the story based on biographies that have been written and stuff you've read. You're telling those stories, but then you get these people who are actually in the industry who might know those stories, interspersed. So it's sort of like additional things. I think it's a really good way to do it. I think it's really interesting.
I'm also hoping that if I can get enough of these, and if I can start getting the actual people that were in the actual bands on, then I can start putting my own content into my own content rather than relying on other people's.
Yeah, so you get actual interview clips
from myself.
To go into the documentaries. And it's and you don't have to bother with the referencing part of it and crediting other people.
Crediting?
You know what I mean.
I name check things.
Yeah. So it's but no, like I say, it is a fantastic documentary, and it's not. It doesn't gloss over all the shit, like the shitty things that Hitchcock did. It's. Yes, it does. It's about him, so it does sort of isn't he wonderful? Isn't he great? Yeah, he did these shit things, but isn't he wonderful?
But everyone knows that he tortured his leading ladies and all that kind of thing. He was
obsessive and controlling.
Yeah, a little bit pervy.
And they do cover that quite early on as well. That he was quite rude, and especially for that time. But no, it's well worth a watch. Like I say, if you've got Sky Cinema, it's on. I don't even if you, because it's a Sky documentary, so I don't even know if you need Sky Cinema to watch the Sky.
Right, okay. So I've been, I don't know, what have I been doing this weekend? I went down. It was my mum's birthday this weekend. Yeah. That was why I was doing nothing else yesterday.
Yes.
So that's my excuse anyway. But I will get around to it this week. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's great. Like I say, it's only an hour and 40 minutes, I think. And it's on there. I just sat and watched it. It was, worth it.
Cool. I've started getting into new games.
Okay. New to you?
New to me, yeah. Absolutely not new to anyone else. Well, Jo came back home from work the other day saying that she was covering this bit of prose that had been, it's a poem, I think, about some kid who wanted the new Metal Gear Solid game and got it home, and it's all about him being really excited to get the game. Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid 5. And it turns out that this kid is an Afghan, and it's set in the kind of Afghan war. And there's a depiction of one of the people in the game that is actually his uncle who was killed by Russian forces or something. And in the game, you have to kill this particular character.
Wow.
Whether or not that is true, I'm not sure, but it's been in my download list for ages now. And I said to her, well, I've got that game downloaded. I can play it. And we can see how accurate it is if you want. But Christ alive, it takes a while to get going, that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I don't know whether you've played any of the new Metal Gear games.
No.
I mean, did you play the first one?
I don't know if I ever played it myself, but it was again one of those games that I think my dad played, and I sat and watched a lot of him playing it.
And there were always these slightly supernatural elements.
So you got Psycho Mantis in the first one, isn't it? Yeah.
Where you had to defeat him, you had to change the controller slot, didn't you?
Plug your controller into two.
Yeah. But he'd also
Fucking
comment
genius.
on any save games that were from Konami as well.
Yes.
Like if you had anything saved, he'd be like, "Oh, I can see you're playing
Whatever
International
game,
Track and Field or Street Fighter or something like that."
Yeah. It's great. Like it's such like for that time that was fucking brilliant. Like
that was mind blowing. Yeah.
It's just genius.
Yeah. And as we all know, Hideo Kojima,
Hideo, I think,
has gone on to make ridiculous kind of story choices, and he kind of deals in the supernatural and the weird. But like the beginning of this one, you wake up. It's set in 1984, and you wake up in hospital and your arm's been amputated, and then like people attack the hospital, and there's like this floaty psychomantis type person who seems to herald the arrival of some like tank type character who's on fire and just destroys things. And it's bizarre. Like you're chased by these two people out of the hospital while like an opposing force is trying to kill these supernatural beings and getting their asses handed to them.
Yeah.
And then and it's like there's a whole half hour to an hour of that at the very beginning.
Yes, actually, no, I have heard that where people are sort of like not into the beginning because it was like you have to watch a film before you actually get to play the game or something.
Yeah,
like,
there's hardly any gameplay in the first couple of hours of playing it, I don't think. We just got to Afghanistan. I had to rescue a guy, and then you're out of there. So I don't know when this is going to get into what Joe is reading about.
Okay, yeah.
But apparently, like the fact that she downloaded the game has got her massive kudos points with her Year 8 class.
Oh, really? Yeah, she didn't tell anyone that it's actually you that's playing it.
Yeah, of course.
So is this a bit of prose? Is it like one of her students has written?
No, it's something that they're studying.
Right. Okay.
I don't know whether it's something that one of her students brought in.
Right. Yeah.
To kind of, as an example of something. But it was published in the New Yorker.
Wow.
So whoever's done it is, in those kinds of circles. But I don't know whether it's going to be a game I'll stick with, if I'm honest. It seems too
out there.
I'm not really like the first game I thought was really good because it was in that kind of slightly enclosed setting, wasn't it? It was in like a military base somewhere.
Yeah. And it was like the first one, although yes, you did have those supernatural elements like with Psychomantis and stuff like that. I think it was like grounded.
Yeah.
Because you were like special forces and you were trying to infiltrate and blah. Whereas this seems like it's just a fantasy game.
Yeah.
From the off.
It was really bizarre. It was like playing, something that I wasn't ready for it because I haven't played any of the others since I think the second one, which was set again, it was on an oil rig.
Yeah.
So again, it was that enclosed space that you were operating in, but also there was the weird fantasy element because one of the characters was a vampire.
Yeah. The thing is, I think what I'm forgetting as well is it's Japanese, isn't it? So it probably takes a lot of influence from like animes and mangas and things like that.
Exactly.
Like I don't know why I've never made that link before because like we watch. Obviously, watching Arjun, it's all military, but also supernatural elements there as well. And I don't know why I never made that link before. That's why it's weird.
Yeah, I know.
People think, this is weird. Like, it's like army, but it's not. It's weird, and it's like, it's anime.
But it's anime. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's where the actual source.
Yeah, Death Stranding. That's bizarre. It's like, yes, Death Stranding is bizarre.
I still haven't watched any gameplay of that yet.
No,
it doesn't. I don't know. Again, it seems too wacky
out there.
Yeah. Like I don't even know what because the whole idea of the game from like interviews that I've heard from him is like building bridges and literally you're building bridges. Like you got a ladder or something and you got to get from one place to another without I don't know. It sounds, I'm sure it's better
not to mention the baby that you carry around with you, like the fetus that you carry around with you, because I think the idea is there's like these shadow monster type things, and and children or babies or the fetuses can sense them. So that's why people carry them around with them.
I see.
Because then they sense these monsters, and that gives you the opportunity to sort of, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. I think, but that's not even the point. That's just a mechanic.
Yeah.
Game.
Yeah. It's just something that's assumed in that world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bizarre. I'll stick with it. But the other one that I've started lately is the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh, because it was free on PlayStation.
Because it was free recently, last month or two, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started playing that as well. In the odd half hour here and there that I've had lately. But it was only because I downloaded that one on, I think it was on Friday when Joe came home from work. I was like, well, I'll just download Final Fantasy VII as well, because that is one I definitely do want to get around to playing. Mainly because the original game, I owned 2 copies of it, and I rented one copy, like on a kind of extended, from Blockbuster, on like an extended lease, because the 2 copies that I owned, both, when I got to the 3rd disc, it was scratched.
Really? Oh wow!
I've never completed Final Fantasy VII because I couldn't physically do it. Yeah. So I just want to see how it ends up.
Well, that's what happened with me with Final Fantasy VIII. Is I couldn't finish Final Fantasy VIII because somebody scratched my last disc.
It's so frustrating.
Or they scratched the disc that I was at the end of.
Right.
I hadn't quite got to the last.
So you
disc.
Couldn't get to the last bit.
Had I been able to get to the last disc, I would have been okay. But but I've got that on my Switch, and I play that every so often now. Like, it's because you can just pick it up and play it when. I haven't for a long, just because I'm so sort of swamped with like uni and climbing and work and stuff like that. I haven't really had a chance to play anything. Like, me and Liz sat down and played a bit of Mario Party last night, which was good fun. It's just, Mario Party is just like a board game.
Yeah.
Which with mini games. It's great.
And those games are just simple, aren't they, to kind of pick up and put down. And you, again, like you say, you can play them with your other half. Like Joe and I play the Sackboy games. Yeah. Little Big Planet and the latest one. I mean, we've completed that now, so there's nothing left for us to play. The Lego games is another one as well that she doesn't mind playing. Yeah.
They're the sort of games where you don't have to be a gamer. Like, as such, you don't need to be like brilliant at games. Assassin's Creed, you don't need to be brilliant at games, but there's that extra element of difficulty with those sorts of games, isn't there? Whereas the Lego games and the Sackboy games, they're nice, simple platformers. Like, Liz will play Sonic, she'll play Mario, things like that, Mario Kart. But like, I won't get her sitting down playing Assassin's Creed or Cyberpunk or anything like that, because it doesn't interest her.
They're very kind of, I don't know, sandbox games are kind of, you've got to put hours in. And if you're not a person who wants to put hours in, then...
The open world games. So I've got to walk there. And how long is it going to take to walk there? And I might not make it because something might kill me. Right.
Yeah.
And then if something kills me, then I've got to start this whole walk again. Okay. You're like, yeah, brilliant, isn't it? It's like real life. It's like that VR game, Job Simulator. So you put the headset on and you work. What's the point of it?
Oh man! We're always looking through the discounted section and stuff on the PlayStation Store, and every time there's like a bus simulator or something like that, and Joe is like, "What the fuck is that about?" And it's like, people like to pretend to be bus drivers, I guess.
That game somebody mentioned at work the other day that I'd never heard of. Like, the English name for it was something different to the American name. And when I heard the American name, I was like, oh, that makes total sense.
Right.
What's it called? Hang on.
Is it another one of these simulatory type ones, though?
Oh, big time. Oh, it's so annoying. Right. So it was called Desert Bus in the UK.
Okay.
And the whole idea of it was that you drive from Tucson, Arizona to Las Vegas, Nevada.
Right.
That's the game.
On a bus.
You are a bus driver and you
Right.
drive that journey.
Right. Which probably from Arizona to Nevada is hours and hours and hours on very straight roads, I would imagine.
8 hours. It's an 8-hour game. 45 miles per hour is the bus. So the American name was... Now, Desert Bus. What the fuck? What the hell is that? In the States, it was called... Wait. Come on. Penn and Teller's Smoke and Mirrors. It was a Penn and Teller game.
Okay.
And then when I heard that, I was like, that makes sense that they would make a game like that. Just because it's bizarre.
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
But do you know the really good thing about it?
Is there magic in it?
That no. You drive from Arizona to Nevada. That's the
Makes
game.
Perfect sense. Yeah.
But it's just weird. But in 2017 there was a re-release of Desert Bus VR.
Oh, excellent! Just what you need. That extra level of
immersion.
Now,
for simulation games, that is bonkers.
Yeah.
8 hours just driving. Like, are there save points? Like,
yeah. Do you have to? You just have to do it all in one go.
Our next YouTube video.
Well, no, I'm hoping our next YouTube is going to be Portal 3, I guess, or whatever it's going to be.
Well, I don't know what that is. No,
is it just a mod?
I think that's a mod.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, which is why I'm not sure if there's going to be a co-op version. Yeah. But yeah, I tagged you in it, didn't I? And there's a Portal mod where you've got your normal portals, but then you also have a green oblong portal, which is a time portal,
which takes you to the future.
Did you watch that whole video?
I watched the whole video, yeah. Like I said to you, like it started off and my mind was blown. And then I started to was like, I kind of understand the mechanics of it. And then
where like anything you change in the past affects the future.
Yeah.
So if you move something in the past, it dissolves it. It gets rid of it in the future because obviously you've made a change to it now.
Yeah, but you can take
it
things
in the
from the future.
It doesn't change what it is in the past.
Yeah. So you can bring things back from the future to the past.
Yes.
To place on buttons or whatever. But you can't take anything from the past to the future because then it wouldn't be there anymore.
Then it ceases to exist. Yeah. So it wouldn't. So its future version wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But then there was that extra element where how, when you keep your speed and it allows you to sort of
what was that about? Like
yourself, but he used the time portal as an extra portal, so he went flying through it in the past and it propelled him even further in what like
say like halfway through the video, and it almost seemed to go with his own kind of thing. It was like, this is really confusing, and then it's like, oh, I get how to work this now, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then by the end of the video I was totally flummoxed again because he did something and was like, oh, I don't understand how I did any of that.
It was a great video. It's the Australian accent as well, just added to it. But that mod looks fantastic. But I feel like that's one that we could sit next to each other.
Yeah.
And do and we can try and talk each other through it.
Yeah.
And it'll be one of those ones like if we fail it, then the next person, then if I'm doing it and I fail, then you would take over.
Hand the controller over.
Yeah, that's bizarre. Really bizarre. And then not only that, but also Life is Strange 3 has been announced, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Yeah.
We haven't done number 2 because it didn't work.
Yeah, COVID has ruined that for us. Yeah. Well, it worked for us, but it didn't work when we...
It worked for the podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, we were able... So I was playing it on my machine. You were able to see it in real time. But then when I looked at the playback, it was all choppy and the camera was... Our sort of face cams were stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Odd.
But then the odd thing is that was the issue we had with Tenet as well when we did the trailer. But then the Mortal Kombat trailer we did the other week was fine. And I don't know how I did it. So I'm sure there'll be a way around it, but I think that sort of stuff we can just wait until we can get back together again.
Be in the same place, yeah.
Which we can do this month.
Well, I guess so, yeah. How weird.
Yeah. And why not? Yeah, we'll have to arrange that. It'll be a weird one.
Yeah.
We have seen each other actually. When we went
we have, yes.
Yeah. That was cool. I enjoyed that. It was really nice. And then we will be seeing each other again
next Saturday.
Is it next Saturday?
Is it next or the one after? No, the one after is
20. I want to say 24th. No, that's a Monday.
22nd, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then obviously we'll be reporting back on that on the
23rd
episode. Yeah.
Yeah, 22nd. We are band practice.
Unless we just take all our recording stuff down to the practice room and do a podcast as well.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Is like we can film some bits and whatever, can't we, to put on our Patreon feed? Depending how well it goes, we might. We're there for 4 hours. Oh, no,
4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours. Yeah,
10:30 to 2:30, isn't it?
Yeah. So
this will be the first daytime one I've done in about 10 years, if not more. It's really weird doing a band practice at a weekend again.
It'll be good. I'm really looking forward to it.
That's weird.
What's that?
You know, there's that little shed just outside my back door.
Yeah.
The door is just opened. And that thing's bolted.
Excuse me?
It's just kind of eked open on its own. And I bolted that last night. I'm sure it's nothing. I'm alone here.
Oh, brilliant. Love it. Cool.
This is going to turn into that, what is it? What's that horror film that they put on Zoom recently? Was it Moderator or something like that?
Oh, I don't know. I've not seen that one. There was that Facebook one. Was it a Facebook?
Unfriended or something?
Yeah.
No, someone did it on Zoom during lockdown. They did one. I think it's called Moderator or something like that.
Right. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Not something that you've wanted to watch this year. Yeah, maybe I didn't bolt it properly. But why is it chosen now?
I would imagine it's that.
It's fine.
I'd imagine it probably just wasn't bolted properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would get weird shit happening in our house as well. It's one of those weird things. It's like, I'm a skeptic. I don't believe in that shit, but fuck me, that's scary. Yeah, I'm a skeptic. I don't believe in ghosts. No, I'm not going to Pluckley.
Yeah, no. And I'm still slightly afraid of the dark, and I'm not entirely sure why.
Yeah, I still run up the stairs after turning all the lights off. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's just built into us, isn't it, to be scared?
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone knows that we're fucking wussies.
Yep.
Like, if they've ever looked at anything on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. But watched Jaws last night, talking about scary films.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for the first time in ages. I think Joe had never sat through the whole film before.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, you have to.
you what?
I don't understand that. Why not? It's such a good film.
Yeah.
So good. Like, I know that the shark is not great, but I still enjoy it.
It's what you don't see.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what scares you about the first one. There's a couple of films that I'd never seen before.
Sorry, I heard something.
Tom's on edge now.
Yeah.
There's a couple of Joe come walking into the kitchen and bolt.
Shit me right up.
Yeah. There's a couple of films that I hadn't seen before that everyone raved about. You need to watch it. You need to watch it. And we watched them, and then something happened in the news.
Okay.
That sort of tarred it a little bit. So the films we watched were Kidulthood and Adulthood.
Ah, yes. Yeah, Noel Clarke just got a BAFTA fellowship as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
and made a really.
He had a BAFTA fellowship because they took it away from him.
Yeah.
And Liz was watching that TV series of his as well.
Oh right, yes, the one on Sky.
Yeah, and then obviously just before the last episode aired, that happened, and so they didn't play. Oh, it was at ITV, I think.
Oh right. Right, that one. Yes.
Yeah,
okay,
and they cancelled the last episode, but they put it up on the hub, the ITV Player hub, online if people wanted to watch it. And she really wants to watch Brotherhood now, and I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, I haven't delved too much into it, but it's accusations of an unsavoury kind, isn't it?
Oh yeah, from a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest. I've never really liked his personal persona. Like he's always come across like a bit of a dick.
I've never really watched him in interviews and stuff like that, but I like Kidulthood and Adulthood. I actually really liked them. There was that TV series that he did where he was a policeman. I can't remember what it was now, but like Liz used to watch that, and I think I quite like the stuff he's in.
Yeah,
I quite like the characters he plays. I think he's a good actor. But,
yeah.
Like these accusations are like harassment.
Yeah,
like sexual harassment. Like he's
on the Doctor Who set as well.
Yeah, he's a bit of a groper apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gone to trial or anything, is it? So it's just, I always like to reserve judgment.
Yeah, but
until the official story has come out. But yeah, all signs point.
It's difficult because there's even like male co-stars have come out and said, yeah, it was only a matter of time, and before shit like that came out about him, and yeah, it's a shame
because like he really built an industry. Like he got things done, and he worked a lot. Like he seems to have like a proper kind of like always on work ethic, I guess. Whether or not that, I don't know.
It is a shame. It's
equally, British. If he's this kind of guy, then it's right that it's called out, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think like he obviously refutes the allegations or the seriousness of the allegations, but he has come out and said that he's seeking help for like certain things that he's been accused of. Like it's sort of shown him that he does need to sort of work on himself, because it's not right. And it's always when it comes out that people seek help, isn't it? They don't.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah. But like, I suppose it's human nature, isn't it?
It's almost a bit of an empty gesture. But
yeah, the problem is that you're always in denial, I guess.
Yeah, you don't want to admit
you're getting away with something, and then when you're cornered, it's like, oh yeah, I have a problem, and it's like because Weinstein did the same, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a problem. I'm going to seek help, but never apologized, admittedly, because he's a massive fat cunt.
But yeah, I'm just wondering if it's the thing, like they're doing it and they don't want to admit that it's wrong to themselves, so they don't. But by seeking help, you're admitting that you're doing something wrong, but you don't want to feel that way about yourself. And when someone calls it out, you're kind of like, right, I've got no choice now. I kind of have to.
It's
do
the
something
PR.
about
It comes across as a PR spin, doesn't it? That's the problem.
Yeah, that's it. Do you look at it as in he's only doing it because he got caught, or has this sort of forced him to admit that he does have a problem? And now he's getting. It's like you say, reserve judgment, but it still makes it when you watch stuff. Now it's kind of like, I don't really want to watch anything he's in.
Yeah, it's like Kevin Spacey. I used to really rate him as an actor, but ever since
Liz has just come down and given me a look because she loves him as well.
Ever since the allegations against him and the correct allegations against him.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to watch anything with him in, despite the fact that I held him up as a brilliant actor.
Yeah. Definitely haven't been able to watch anything new that he's in.
No.
Because there isn't anything.
No, I mean, it was even that Ridley Scott film, wasn't it? Where they brought in Christopher Plummer to redo all of his scenes.
Yeah, they filmed everything, hadn't they? I think.
Yeah, because they got it all edited, I think, as well. And they basically were like, right, Christopher Plummer, you're 90 odd.
Yeah.
Come out and do all of these scenes in 2 weeks. Because he was the main character as well. Yeah. It wasn't like reshooting a couple of scenes. It was reshooting almost the entire fucking film. It was unreal. But, but he's not the only Doctor Who actor who's been accused recently either. John Barrowman has also been accused of repeatedly exposing himself to co-workers on BBC Productions. I can imagine John Barrowman doing that, though.
Yeah, but the thing with John Barrowman is, I can imagine him doing it, but not in sort of like a malicious,
in like a way
sexual harassment. Yeah, just more like a look at me. Sort of, it just fits his personality. So it's like, yes, it's inappropriate. You should not do it to a room full of people. But I can see him doing it as a bit of a laugh.
Yeah,
like I don't know how. It's a bit. Not that you want to excuse it.
This Guardian article, obviously, Noel Clarke says he vehemently denies any allegations of sexual misconduct, criminal wrongdoing, or sexual inappropriate behaviour, including the latest allegations, blah, blah, blah. But Barrowman, who played the character Captain Jack Harkness in Doctor Who and its spin-off show Torchwood, is accused of exposing himself repeatedly on both sets. Although numerous witnesses describe the incidents as inappropriate pranks rather than anything amounting to sexually predatory behaviour, which is exactly what
we just said. Yeah,
that kind of fits his personality type, doesn't it? I mean, I've known people in the past who, in a party situation, would whip their bollocks out or their knob because they're that kind of person. It's not a sexual thing. It's just, look at me. I'm this guy.
Have you ever seen my elephant impression? There are people that do that, and like we say, that's what we feel like. The John Barrowman, that's how.
Barrowman has admitted to tomfoolery. He now understood upset colleagues, but stressed it was never intended or interpreted as sexual in nature.
It's that thing whenever you do, and it's when I worked at the hospital when we had to do our training on like harassment and stuff like that. It's like the intent isn't what's important.
No,
it's
exactly.
How the people that you are doing this to, like, if John Barrowman came in and did it in front of us, we'd be like, nah, you a fucking wanker. Like we'd find it funny. But if there's just one person in there that it makes feel uncomfortable, then it's wrong.
Yeah.
And there will be people that come and go, fucking, that one person's a fucking snowflake. They need to get over themselves. It's like, no, not at all. If that's what they believe is appropriate or inappropriate, then it's inappropriate if they find it inappropriate.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that everyone else around them thinks it's okay, they don't. It makes them feel uncomfortable. They've been put in a position, like something that's been forced upon them that makes them feel uncomfortable. So,
yeah. I mean, it's all wrong. I mean, I don't really understand. I've never been a person who has exposed themselves in a jokey situation, mainly because I'm not that much of an exhibitionist.
No.
I've never really understood people who do it, though I have known them and am friends with people.
Oh, for sure, there are people that do it. We know them, and it's fine.
Yeah.
You do it. You do you, mate. It's great. I'm not doing it.
I knew someone at uni, for example, who would come behind you at during a thing where you were sat at a table or something, and would rest his bollocks on your shoulder.
Because it's funny.
Because that's funny to some people.
Yeah.
It was never that funny to me, but equally, I was never offended by it.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
Liz has started trimming the grass out the front. Can you hear it?
Slightly. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Apparently, Clarke had a work-related conversation with a girl, and he told her he liked girls with long hair as it gives him something to hold on to when doing them from behind. This particular girl who had very long hair said it made her... She had to leave that trailer that they were in because she felt uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's that thing. It's like...
He reckons that didn't take place. And this is the other thing as well, isn't it? Like...
The thing is, it's like, just admit it took place, but you weren't directing at anyone. Like, you may have been. It may have been one of those things he was saying to somebody for the benefit of that girl with long hair. But he didn't say it directly to her, which is probably why it made her feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just admit it, mate. Everyone said shit like that in front of a person that fits that description of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, it's wrong. If it made her feel uncomfortable, fair enough. Apologise to her, mate.
It doesn't say whether she was the only person in this trailer. She was his costume assistant. Yeah, it doesn't say that she was the only person in the trailer. So, like, can't tell whether it was a one-on-one. If it was one-on-one, it's pretty creepy. But
be honest, he was probably just putting the feelers out there, wasn't it?
Maybe.
If she reacted a certain way to it, then he was in.
Yeah,
clearly he wasn't.
Hell, didn't we know someone? I don't know whether it was someone that we knew or whether it was someone tangentially in our sphere who would go out on a night out and go up to almost every girl in a room saying it's not going to suck itself.
Sounds about right. I don't know who that would have been.
No, I can't remember who it was either, but I know that there was someone, and whether it was within our friendship group or whether it was someone on the fringes or in another one.
Yeah. It's that Jason Mewes mentality, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ask everyone, someone's going to say yes.
Yeah.
Like, you'll get turned down more than you'll get a yes.
And it's probably really nasty to be on the receiving end of that kind of comment as well, you know, like...
Yeah. Yeah, sorry to bring it to fucking sexual harassment.
Yeah. But no, it's a
shame because, like you say, he was
almost a one-man film industry. That's
massive, did massive things for British film.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Lightening it up a little bit,
please.
The border between France and Belgium was moved recently, illegally, as it turns out.
Yeah, no, I did see this. I saw a picture of it, I think.
A farmer in Belgium has managed to redraw the country's boundary with France by mistake.
Yeah.
After a local history enthusiast was walking in the forest near this farmer's field, he noticed the stone marking the border between the two countries had moved by 2.29 meters, 7.5 feet.
It's not insignificant.
People have gone to war for less.
Yeah.
The farmer, apparently annoyed by the stone in his tractor's path, moved it inside French territory. He made Belgium bigger and France smaller. It's not a good idea, said the mayor of the Belgian village of Erkelns. That sort of move causes a headache between private landowners, let alone neighbouring states.
How did this local history enthusiast notice that?
I guess he knows the history of the local area quite well, and maybe it's just that he noticed this massive stone, which I assume would have some sort of engraving on it.
Yeah.
And one day it was one side of the path, and the other day it was the other side of the path. One day it was in the field over there. The next day it was in the forest.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
That's all I can imagine. But yeah,
mad, isn't it?
The fact that you do that technically changes the border between two countries.
Yeah.
Moving a stone 2 and a bit meters away.
Yeah.
It doesn't say whether he's had to put the stone back. I imagine that he must have.
Yeah.
because
Well, no, to move it back now, it's probably got to go to a proper committee. Or something.
it's got to go through the EU, and all 28 member states have got to agree. We're better alone, right? Sovereignty.
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah. Saying that about so it made France smaller, didn't it? And the last thing you want to do is upset France, otherwise they will fucking cut all power to your fucking country or your island.
That's true. Yeah.
Fucking, they flexed, didn't they? On was it Jersey or was it Guernsey?
Yeah.
That was Jersey,
Fuck yeah. We had to send the navy in, didn't we, to sort out fishery rights and things.
Yeah. So because of the EU thing, obviously, and Jersey is one of the British Isles, isn't it?
Yep.
But
technically much closer to France.
France supplied 95% of its electricity, and there was because of the EU, the old Brexit EU thing, like fishing rights and have to be talked about. And I don't know the intricacies of it, but there was some dispute between France and Jersey about fishing in French waters. But obviously, it's around the island of Jersey, which is a British isle, so it's like. I think Jersey rewrote the rules. Like they had a thing where they rewrote the rules that France disagreed with. And basically France was like, fine, we're just going to stop supplying your electricity then. It was just like, whoa, fucking hell. That's
Which,
like
this is the thing, isn't it? You know, you piss on your own doorstep like we have.
Yeah.
You got to take the consequences, I guess.
Yes, I think in the end what happened is obviously they didn't want to do that, so I think the local French fishermen actually went and basically blockaded Jersey. They went out and just blockaded and sort of sat in the waters around Jersey, so the Jersey sort of fishermen couldn't go out and do their fishing. So then like, we had to send out navy boats as a bit of moral support because it's one of our islands. Like they weren't ever going to do anything. And yeah, so it's essentially like, and I think even some of the fishermen on Jersey were sort of, they didn't agree with the changes to these rules either. It was just like, again, it was a bureaucratic thing, wasn't it? It was just the government interfering with things to make it right, and like the French and the fishermen from Jersey, we just sort of like, no, we need to get sorted, mate, so we can all sort of be all right. I don't really know what's happened, but I just read it and it was like France threatens to cut power to Jersey, and I'm like, fuck, mate, flex.
But it's all to do, like you say, with fishing rights and the fact that
they're not neutral waters anymore.
No, they're not. We don't share those waters anymore, and therefore, you know, because this little tiny bit of Britain is right next to France, they think they're, you know, fishing too much out of French waters, even though it's technically British water. It's all very kind of murky and, you know, legally stuff. But yeah, like France are well within their right to impose sanctions on any country who are imposing on other areas of economic relevance to their country. So the way that the French are seeing this is that British, specifically Jersey fishermen are cutting in on their fishing territory. So because, like you say, they provide about 95% of the island's electricity. They're just like, well, we're sanctioning your electricity then. Fuck yeah. And, you know, and it's exactly right. It's exactly what countries do in other areas of the world when, you know, China are like going into the South China Sea and building new islands there and dredging up all the coral. Like Japan and South Korea are imposing sanctions on Chinese, this, that, and the other. You know, it's what places do, but it's so weird that it's happening this close to home. And that, you know, I mean, I'm not going to compare it to the Falkland Islands, but you know, it's that kind of thing. It's not territorial dispute. It's other things, but it's sending the Navy in to sort it out is a bit heavy-handed, maybe.
And it does raise these sort of points where it's kind of like, we did Brexit, but like it affects the smallest, and it's small to us because it doesn't. It's their livelihood, so it's the most important thing to them.
Yeah, of course.
But it's not because it's such a specific issue to that particular area, because it's that island that is that close to that country that's part of the EU that we're now not in.
Yeah.
But they're getting 95% of their power from the EU, and they're also fishing in essentially what is EU waters, but it's kind of not, because it's surrounding a British territory. So it's like you've got that sort of thing to contend with, and they don't take that into consideration, because it's like, yes, you're fishing the waters around France that is technically around a British territory, but then you're also getting your power from France.
Yeah.
How is that working?
Now, the extra wrinkle in this is that Jersey is not part of the UK and is never part of the EU.
Oh, really?
It is a crown dependency.
Right.
So it's not part of the UK, but it is British somehow.
I suppose like Australia would have been
Commonwealthy, yeah.
Yeah, it's British.
Basically, Jersey has its own government.
So it's its own country.
Yeah.
It's not a British island
it's
at all.
Independent. Their government is independent of Westminster.
So everything we just said.
However, the UK government is ultimately responsible for its international relationships.
Okay.
However, the Jersey government put in there's something to do with fishing licenses that certain... It's very... So...
Beyond us?
Yes. So what it looks like to me, access has been granted under post-Brexit rules, which came into force this month. 41 licenses or permits have been issued to French fishing vessels to operate in Jersey's waters. Access has been granted based on how much fishing they did between February 2017 and January 2020. But while some French boats have provided comprehensive information about the amount of fishing they've done in the past, others haven't. And this is why 17 of the 41 boats have been given much less access than they were expecting. So
because they didn't declare anything.
The French didn't declare the French boats didn't declare what they were fishing in the last 3 years before this. So the ones that did got access, the ones that didn't, and they're the ones that are pissed off.
But I think the argument is that those rules, those rules that are governing whether you get a license or not are not. It's not that they're not fair. It's just that's not a standard thing.
And the other thing is that the European Commission is backing France, obviously.
Yeah.
But because it says that the commission for these licenses given by Jersey to the French vessels was. The UK says that it informed the European Commission about the new licenses, but the Commission says that this happened only 1 day before they came into effect, giving no time for any discussion. So Jersey has basically gone, oh yeah, now you can't fish here as of tomorrow.
Yeah.
By the way, why didn't you provide us with 3 years worth of what you've been
And they're
doing
like, because we didn't know we had to.
Because we didn't know we had to. Yeah, exactly. However, 17 boats did, but still... it's.
I suppose it was probably a choice in the past.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's a requirement.
Yeah, it's possible that there are certain boats who do this kind of thing on the regular anyway, but
for their own books, probably.
Yeah. So it's tit for tat, but it seems that the Jersey, the people on Jersey who were doing this did the typical UK approach to Brexit, which is get things done in the last couple of days before the deadline, rather than having real negotiations with people leading up to this. But,
so it's sort of like a thing that happened that was never agreed upon, but they just put it into force anyway.
But now it's law.
Yeah. Weird. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
So essentially what's just happened is we spoke for about 25 minutes with completely the wrong information, and then within the last 5 minutes we got it.
Fact checking is important.
Yeah.
And this is why.
Okay, fair enough. Now we're clear on it. Still, France just flirting this cup out. Brilliant. Love it. I thought that was great. Like, ow.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
It's a bold move.
I'm sure. Yeah, for sure. So, I just read it today. Like, I woke up and I was like, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do it. Why not? Love it.
As I say, maybe they were upset about that one Belgian farmer and they were taking it out on Jersey. Who knows?
That's it. Yeah. Bonkers. Like, mental stuff.
However, now that the lag is back, I think it's probably a good time to stop the episode, right?
Oh, as the lag come back. Yep. I think, yes. Possibly a good idea. Fair enough.
And anything else you do will be over on Patreon to all those supporters who support us through Patreon over there. So pop along. Hopefully the lag will have sorted itself out on Patreon, and we'll continue the conversation there.
Yeah, we've got a bit of making up to do. We put 3 hours worth of put about 3 hours worth of material out 2 weeks ago, and nothing for patrons.
Yeah, true. Right. Well, until next time, I've been Tom,
and I've been Ant. Bye.
Bye.